November 10th, and I'm headed to get reestablished as a mental patient. And I have my first therapy session today, and I'm going to be nice, and I'm just going to talk about, my childhood and just check the vibes of this chick I'm talking to. Because I posted a couple of videos and I took them down because already my YouTube channel is like a bad Tarantino movie bopping around. But when you start waking up, you kind of got to get used to the fact that you're actually just a pinball in a pinball machine. And okay, long story short, I don't know anything about religion. Every time I tried to find a church, because I've always been a Christian and I've always loved God and Jesus Christ so much, every time I would go to a church, every single time people would say things that just rubbed me wrong. I don't understand how God could be so wrathful. I mean, I get that he can be, good versus evil out there. But I just never liked the narratives. I just never, it never quite fit right for me. The only thing I've ever felt that truly felt real in my whole life was this time I went to church camp when I was between 8 and 10, probably closer to 10. We went out under the stars one night, and this Mr. Simmons guy said, "All right, everybody, open your hearts to Jesus Christ and let him in." And I'm like, I want to do that. I don't know how to do that. How do you do that? I couldn't relax. And he said, it'll just come naturally. You just have to open up your mind and just really, really focus on letting God and let Jesus Christ into your heart. And I took a couple of minutes, but I felt the most profound warmth inside of my heart. And I knew that whatever he was trying to tell me to do, that it happened. I mean, that was the only thing in this fake world that ever felt right to me. It caused me a lot of years of severe anxiety and depression. And I guess I really never understood. I don't know anything about Jews or Judaism or anything like that. I don't know anything about the Torah. I don't know anything. But something happened to me, perfectly timed, with some Jewish holiday that I don't know or understand. And on August 12th, I was sitting outside. I found this Lion of Judah video, and something happened to me, and it felt like I went over one of those whoopee bumps in the road. It felt like my stomach dropped, and in an instant, I thought that I found my farthest back memory of catching a glimpse of heaven. I saw a piece of heaven, and I was walking on the left-hand side of a leg, holding the hand of a man who was God or Jesus Christ. But I was a little boy. I was not a little girl. And that was confusing. It lasted about 10 seconds. And when this happened, I mean, the wind stopped. It was so odd. And when I came back from it, this strange twinkly moment, I started crying so hard, because then in my mind I was able to fully understand that if I did not do every single thing wrong in my life. If I didn't live exactly the way I've lived, and my life has not been the greatest, and it has not been not close to the worst. If I could put my problems out on a clothesline next to everybody else's, I would gladly take mine back. And I might be in a weird situation, in a weird boat, but I'd still not want to be in anybody else's boats. And when I was able to accept everything I could not change because of butterfly effects, I got hit in the chest, right in my heart, with a very hot beam of energy. And I'm going, I don't know what that is. That was profound. And it took me about a week of feeling like I was floating and being amazed, confused, but riding it. You know, hey, God, if you got a plan, we got a plan, I'm down. And then I was given the name Elijah to think about. I don't know biblical characters. I don't know stories. I don't know. And it took me a couple of days to look him up because it started feeling pressing. And I saw that he was lifted off in a wind and returned in a chariot of fire. I don't know. Made a little bit of sense for this strange uplift that I had to experience, and there was no wind until I got hit with this beam, and then everything kind of really went back to normal. Right about September 2nd. I mean, I've gone through a lot. You know, my oversoul knows what's up. I've had to accrue some new trauma in this process, and that's fine, because we all have time to heal. And I was engaged, and I felt a very warm plasma kind of bump on my head, and it just guided right down into me. And then I dealt with some very strange feelings after that, and I get a nudge to look a little deeper into Elijah, and I was able to understand that a long time ago, apparently, when these Christians and these Jewish people and these Roman Catholics and everybody, when everybody got too far gone, God promised to send the soul of Elijah back to this world. And he did. In a hand-picked vessel. And people are very angry with me. They think some old guy's coming back, or they think that this isn't possible or that isn't possible. And tell me. I know how wild it sounds, but you know what? There's also a man, because, you know, my mind's eye and, you know, everything has a lot of visuals on a lot of different games going on. Right about September 25th and September 28th, I had a vision of two witnesses coming forward, and I did not know what that meant. I did not know anything about the connection to Elijah and these witnesses. I did not know. getting very strange feelings, and then it felt as if something that, like a plasma or something that weighed about 40 pounds was gently placed on my shoulders. And I'm sitting there like, what's going on? And then I look and I see that Elijah had a cloak. And his responsibility is to pave way for the Messiah. Now, there is a man talking to rabbis and stuff over in Israel, and people are very excited that this guy is going to come forward, or somebody's going to come forward as a false prophet, the Antichrist. There's a lot of people who understand law of one out there who are saying that in the grand scheme of things, we are all actually the sons and daughters of Israel. We are all equal. Therefore, we are all just as important to this world as Jesus Christ. And my job is to as calmly as possible, beg Jewish people and Christians to look into all things under the umbrella of Law of One. Because what I know is way too much for somebody that should not know shit. I've been a server, bartender, professional painter, cleaner my whole life. I don't have a degree. I wanted to be a nurse, but I got a felony. And that ruined my schooling. Because everybody sins. And everybody can be forgiven if they come down from their high horses and they understand that it's not a sin to look at other people's opinions and take them into consideration. I pray so hard that if this false Messiah isn't a walking mirror, I pray Jesus Christ comes back. I want to see that, I promise you, more than anybody. But as a starseed, those are real. With this kind of a job, I'm afraid. I am afraid for everybody. Everybody's mental health. And here I am, back at it. Going right on back to speak to people because I know my mental health it's not that great. But I'm awfully reasonable and rational when I'm not spiritually awakened in a panic. And here I am. Toodles.